I suppose the difference, if you want to look at it now from this half of the season, you've got a team that's lost 8 on the bounce and a team that's won 7 on the bounce. So it's always going to look different because you've got 11 to 16 players in the 23s and the 18s that are full of confidence and are brimming. You can ask them to do anything you want and they'll carry it out. Whereas the first team at the minute, they're searching for that form. So can I simplify it? Can I make it a little bit easier? Can I put a bit of confidence into them? And then hopefully they'll carry out and put a performance on the pitch. Because look, we know they're capable of it. We know they're capable of it. It's just a case of getting them to do it. But this is a huge, huge football club. I've played for some big clubs, and I now work at a very, very big club, the biggest club in Wales. It's going to be huge. It's going to be really nice to have that feeling that I used to have as a player. When you walk out and you have that little bit of apprehension, what's going to happen? The only difference is I can't do anything about it once they step over the white line. Not as much as I could previously. So, but I'll do my best to do as much as I can, and hopefully by the time we get to Stoke on Saturday, I won't have to do much talking because we'll have prepared well enough.
Welcome back. That's the manager Steve Morrison there ahead of this afternoon's game with Stoke City, and I rather overrun my coverage a little bit there. I set up the fact that we were going to hear from Cardiff captain Sean Morrison. In fact, we were going to hear from Cardiff captain Steve Morrison a little late. Sean Morrison rather. That's going to be confusing. A little later, but why not hear from him now? Here again, this is what the skipper had to say ahead of today's game.
Thanks for joining us, Moz. First up, how's this week been in training with Steve Morrison and Tom Ramosett taking the reins?
It's been really good. It's always tough when a new manager comes in or an interim. I know Steve's been here for a fair while now, so he knows the boys very well. He watches us every week. But it's always tough when you lose a manager and there's that transition period. So it's never nice for a manager or people to lose their jobs. And at the end of the day, that was down to the performances that we had put out on the pitch. As players, we haven't been good enough this year. After a fairly good start for the first 4 or 5 games to come off the gas in the way we have. We need to pick back up now because we're in a very difficult situation where we don't win games. We're gonna start really struggling to look up and see the light at the end of the tunnel. So we need to start getting points on the board.
Yeah, fans will have seen clips of the boys training in high spirits this week, and is that determination but also positivity key in turning things around?
Of course, yeah. But the one thing that you always have successful dressing rooms, whether you get promotions or you turn around bad runs of results, is from sticking together. We've got a young group here, and they've really settled in well in the last season or so. So we just need to stick together. Good team spirit. The older, more experienced lads need to be at the forefront of that. And like I said, if you can stick together through tough times and come out the other end, it puts you in good stead regardless, because it's all good. When things are going well, it's easy to be happy. It's easy to be playing good football and winning games. But when you're losing games and stuff, you can stick together. It's vitally important for progression and for hopefully climbing the table.
As for Stoke, as cliche as it may sound, it's going to be a tough old place to go because they've only lost the one game there this season as well.
Yeah, Stoke is a very, very, very tough place to go. We went up there last year, midweek, and we managed to come away with a win. So look, Stoke's always a tough place to go, especially at this time of year with the rain and the wind. And they've got a great fan base. So hopefully with the positivity we've had this week on the training pitch and the camaraderie and the training and the patterns that we've been learning, we can go up there and put in a good performance and hopefully come back with some points, because like I said, it's getting to that stage of the season now with the amount of losses we've had in a row. We need to turn that corner, whether that's with a draw as a positive result or a win, which would be fantastic. We've got to get a positive result and bring it back to Cardiff, and then 2 home games before the international.
And as you said, we won up there last year, though, and you had an eventful match scoring the late winner.
Well, yeah, I had a very eventful match because I scored an own goal, give away a penalty, and scored the third goal to win the game. So it was. I was speaking to my brother about it yesterday, actually, and I was saying how mad it was the game there last time. But at the end of the day, to come home with 3 points from Stoke on a Tuesday night was fantastic, and hopefully we can do the same tomorrow.
And lastly, we'll be taking a good contingent of fans up there as well. And just getting a result up there will make those 2 home games back here really one to look forward to back in front of the home fans too. Yeah, because look, the performances the away fans and the home fans have had to watch over the last 6 weeks or so hasn't been enjoyable for them. It hasn't been enjoyable for us to play in them with the results going the way they have. So we need to really not only show that how much we care and how much we want to turn this around, we need to give them a performance in a game for the next 3 games to give them something to cheer about, because they've had a tough time, and we're doing everything we can to try and turn that around.
Top 5 in association with the Big Yellow Self-Storage Company.
Decent looking ball, chance here, 1-1 Robert Glatzel, his second of the season, and the substitute has broken Stoke open.
It's a really fine finish from Robert Glatzel. Deep ball in, defender gambles, comes up empty-handed.
Cardiff captain Sean Morrison there, and apologies, we are having a few gremlings to say the least this afternoon, technologically wise, here in the studio. We were hoping to join my colleague John Donovan, but that doesn't seem to be possible at the moment, so we will just again run you through the Cardiff team once more ahead of today's crunch fixture away at Stoke City. The first game in charge for new interim manager Steve Morrison, and he makes changes. It looks like he's keeping the core formation that Cardiff used so well at the tail end of last season and really struggled with so far this season, but crucially has added pace to the wing-back areas, which is what Cardiff have been lacking so obviously in recent months. So Alex Smithies retains his position in goals. There's a recall for club captain Sean Morrison, crucially at the heart of the back three. Mark McGuinness keeps his place after performing so well in recent weeks, and Curtis Nelson comes back into the back line also. Ryan Giles gets his first start as a left wing back, of course the position he was recruited for back in the summer on loan from Wolves, and Perry and G starts in the right wing back position. Will Volks and Leandro Bacuna paired together in the middle of the park, largely because of the injury to Joe Rolls and the suspension to Marlon Pack for his accumulative 5 yellow cards, and then a really exciting, vibrant looking front line of Kiefer Moore through the middle, Ruben Colwell, who's come on leaps and bounds in recent weeks, and Kieran Evans, who looked so lively, not only off the bench on his first team debut at Fulham a couple of weeks ago, but also from for Steve Morrison's under-23s team, of course, who have performed so admirably at the start of this season. For Stoke, there are changes as well for Stoke. We weren't necessarily expecting too many, but they are a team who play 3 at the back also. Ben Wilmot keeps his place in the centre of defence. Leo Østegård has dropped out though this afternoon. James Chester, former Welsh international, starts. There's also a start in the centre of midfield for Joe Allen, and it looks like Romain Sawyers is probably going to play as the furthest forward of the midfield 3, with Mario Vrancic dropping out, and Stephen Fletcher, the old championship warhorse, he will start up top alongside Jacob Brown, who's having a really fine season. The noticeable thing on the bench for Stoke this afternoon, I'd say, is that Tyrese Campbell is fit again for championship action after being out for the best part of a year, having suffered a knee ligament injury in this fixture against Cardiff at home last season. A lot has changed since that game last season at the Bet365 Stadium. Who knows what's in store this afternoon? It should make for a really intriguing 90 minutes of action regardless. I'm delighted to say I'll be on commentary this afternoon to call that action for you, and we will have live coverage of the Bluebirds and Stoke City after we have a results roundup from the women's team of the under-23s and the under-18s.
With last week's fixtures versus Cardiff Met called off, Cardiff City Women's last fixture was the comeback 3-2 win versus TNS, with Zoe Atkins, Megan Saunders and Siobhan Walsh finding the net for City after being 2 down. Next up, Port Talbot Town on Sunday the 31st of October, live on Cardiff City TV. Cardiff City's under-23s continued their 100% record this season, making it 7 wins in a row. Taylor Jones and Chan Kazimba with the goals for City. Swansea City are next on Monday the 1st of November. Cardiff City under-18s also beat the Tractor Boys 6-1 on Saturday the 30th of October, with Morgan Wigley with the pick of the goals. James Kroll, Reece Schwank, Joel Colwell and Isaac Jeffries with the other goals for City.
Good evening, welcome to Cardiff City TV. Well, shooting opportunity. Oh, it's brilliant. Morrison, goal!
Good afternoon, welcome to Cardiff City TV, welcome to the Bet365 Stadium in Stoke-on-Trent for this afternoon's championship clash with the Bluebirds travelling here to the home of Stoke City in what is about as must-win game as you can imagine from a Cardiff City perspective, off the back of 8 consecutive championship defeats, having dispatched their manager, former manager Mick McCarthy, a week ago. It's a first chance for interim manager Steve Morrison, nominally manager of the under-23s here at the club, to take charge for the first time. You can see the Stoke City team in front of you there. Former Welsh international James Chester start in a back three. Captain Welsh international Joe Allen starts in midfield, and Stephen Fletcher is recalled to the front line in place of Sam Surridge. Quality throughout the team, depth on the bench. From a Bluebird, Steve Morrison's first team in charge, and his first act really in charge, is to recall club captain Sean Morrison and install him at the heart of a back three. Mark McGuinness keeps his place as well, and there's a start in the left wing back position, excitingly for Ryan Giles, of course the position that he was recruited to the club to play. Leandro Bacuna has shaken off that knock occurred against Swansea. He returns to a central midfield role. I don't expect to see Ruben Colwill play in that deep. We think it will be Ruben Colwill and Kieran Evans alongside Kiefer Moore in a front three, but a bit of flexibility with those three. You could drop Colwill a bit deeper, you could drop Kieran Evans a little bit deeper and play him in midfield, and deploy the other two as a two up alongside the Stoke back three. It's going to be intriguing, to say the least. A proud day, you'd imagine, for Steve Morrison. Hasn't retired too long ago, made strides in his coaching career early doors. The under-23s team here at Cardiff have had a really fine start to the season, played some good football, scored goals, but this of course is a step up for players from that age group as we've seen so far this season, and also for the manager himself, as young Kieran Evans made such an impact off the bench at Craven Cottage in the late going a couple of weeks ago. Probably would have had his first Cardiff City appearance and start earlier this campaign were it not for a pesky ankle injury suffered in pre-season. But he gets his chance to shine from the beginning this afternoon.